On. Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to Communities Live here on Sheffield Line 93.2 FM. And we have director Callie Carpenteri. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Thanks for having me.
Or should I say good morning over there, really? So for our listeners at home, give us a bit of background. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so I am a writer director. I grew up in South Florida and spent my whole life there, went to college at the University of Florida, and then graduated at the end of 2022 and moved to Los Angeles, where I currently reside. And ever since then, I've just been, making more films, content, and, most recently had made a short film as a proof of concept to a feature film and have been doing the festival circuit with that now.
And I've got to ask you, as a director, who are your main influences? And also, for a second, I've got two parts to that question. If there's anybody that you would like to work with in the near future, who would it be and why?
Hmm. Those are really great questions. I think an influence that I've always had is Greta Gerwig. I think she's just an incredible director. I think the way that she can tell stories that just feel real and authentic is really beautiful. And I think that that's something that I always strive to do in the films that I want to make. And with that, oh my gosh, there's so many people that I'd love to work with. Do you mean in terms of like crew, or like in terms of cast? Like
Anybody like crews, cast, directors, actors, you name it, you tell me.
An actress that I think would be really fun to work with is maybe Emma Stone. I think she's so versatile and so seems like she has such great energy. I feel like it would be really fun to direct her.
Okay, thank you very much. And I've got to ask you as well. As a director, what was the first film that you saw that captured your imagination? That you said when you saw that film, certain film, oh, I want to be a director. What film was that?
That film for me, I think was honestly probably Lady Bird. I think I always loved writing, but seeing that film in theaters at the time that I did, because when I saw that film, I was 17, and Lady Bird in the film, she's 17, and I feel like that was the first movie that I saw that I really saw myself in, and it made me reflect on my own relationships in
Sure.
my life, and that was something that I really hadn't truly had before, and it made me want to make something that caused other people to, enjoy it and see the film, but also reflect on themselves and see, you know, where these themes are in their life and if there's things that they want to shift. Like that really made me want to shift some things in my life. And yeah, so I think that was the first one that I was like, wow, being a director, you can like do that in more than just the writing. And yeah.
Okay, and you've got a new film called Dirty Towel. So, without spoiling too much, because I don't want to give too much away, tell us a bit about the plot of that
Yeah, so Dirty Towel follows a teenage girl, Charlie, who is taught by a young age by her mother that, your body's a white towel, and when you have sex, it gets dirtier and dirtier, and no one's going to want a dirty towel. And, we kind of follow Charlie on a day where she does decide to have sex for the first time and kind of goes on this journey of, struggling with a lot of feelings of shame and guilt regarding this dirty towel thing. And, you know, kind of just shows the exploration of that and how that kind of interwovens with like her mother's story and things of that nature. And yeah.
film. Right, interesting. And how long did it took to make the film altogether? Was it quite a long process, or did it come together quite quickly?
You know, it depends who you ask. In my head, this is the longest that I'd spent on a project, but I think in terms of the actual making the film, it was relatively quick. We started writing it in March of 2023. We began pre-production in June of 2023, filmed it in August, and then we're finished by December. So in that span of time from like March to December is when it was like totally finalized. Um, yeah, so
Okay, and how long was the is the actual film itself? So, how long was it? Is it a long film? Is it a short film?
it's a short film. It's about 12 and a half minutes.
12 and a half
So
minutes.
relatively short, yeah.
Okay, and I've got to ask. So how can people get to see it? Well, is it in festivals right now? And also, will it be coming to like digital platforms, maybe DVD, possibly YouTube or Netflix and stuff like that?
Yeah, so we actually are in the festival circuit right now. So, doing that in a bunch of different states, countries, just getting the film out there in those ways. We have a website, dirtytowelmovie.com, where you can follow along and see where our next festival runs are and see how you can get tickets if you want to see it at any of those festivals. And then hopefully at the beginning of next year, we'll be able to have an online release where it can be viewed anywhere on a platform, probably either YouTube or Vimeo.
Interesting. I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing it. And I've got to ask as well. I mean, if there was any film that you would love to direct. I mean, let's say like you've got a big budget and you want to make a big budget film, so whether it be a franchise or an independent film, what kind of film would you like to make?
I love that question. It's funny. Right now, the film we actually did for Dirty Towel was a proof of concept to a feature film. So we have the feature film, and that's what we're trying to get made right now. And what it deals with is a lot stronger the relationship between the mother and daughter. I think, just the relationships between them and how this theme of shame has like impacted both of their lives. And,
Yeah.
it's a coming of age story for both women. And I think that that's something that I'm really drawn to right now, and that I think at this current time is really important to be made and seen.
And I've got to ask, I mean, how did you come up with the concept of making Dirty Towel? What idea did you thought? Well, I wanted to make this. I mean, what idea did you get it from?
So I co-wrote it with my cousin, Emma Parks, who also starred in the film. And she came to visit me one day last March, and we had just started getting into this topic about just the social stigma surrounding a lot of women's sexual choices and just the, you know, concept of judgment for people's choices in general. And we were very passionate about it. And, she told me the story about how her friend's mom had given her the dirty towel speech. And from there, we just realized, there's a story here and there's a story that we're passionate about telling. And those are the best kinds of stories because when you have that passion and that drive and that care, the quality and the heart of the story just becomes much more alive in that way. So once we just had that conversation, it was pretty instant of like, we want to do this. And from there, we just developed the story and the characters a little bit more.
And I mean, for our listeners at home who want to break into movie directing or acting or anything in the movie industry, what advice would you give to them? And also, how difficult is
I would honestly say just do it. I think a lot of times people are scared to just jump into it. They're waiting for the right moment, the right opportunity, the right, approval from people. And I think the way that you break in is just by making those opportunities for yourself. I feel like the only person, don't let money stop you. We did this for such a low budget. I've done stuff for even lower of a budget just to make stuff. And I think as long as you just have an idea and you're willing to just, go out and do something and just practice and get better, I feel like that's the biggest barrier to entry. And I'd say for difficulty, I mean, in terms of maybe the larger industry, it can be a little difficult. I'm still, fighting my way up there too. But I think at the heart of it, if you just believe in yourself and you're just continuing to make art, in my opinion, it just has to happen. Like you just have to, it has to work out. So.
and I mean, it's so Dirty Tower is currently released in the festivals. So when will it be released for the general public? If there is a release date?
We don't currently have a set release date, but hopefully in the next few months, that's something that we'll be able to announce more on our website or on our social media, Instagram at Dirty Towel Movie. We'll be having more updates with that to announce when an official release date will be.
And to our listeners at home who want to follow you on social media, do you have like X, formerly known as Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube?
Yeah, so we have an Instagram for the film that's at Dirty Towel Movie. And from there, you can find my Instagram, our other crew members, our other cast members' Instagrams, if you want to follow along with any of the people on our team. And we also have a website, www.dirtytowelmovie.com, where we also post exciting updates and there's photos and the trailer and things of that nature as well.
Thank you very much, Emma. Sorry, Callie. I'm calling you Emma. I'm sorry about that. Thank you very much, Callie, for sharing that with me. And for my final question for you, because I'd like to give a final word to you, is what would you like to say to our audience who is currently listening right now?
I would like to say that I hope they're doing well, and I hope that no matter where they are or whatever judgments being faced, that they feel confident for their choices in their life and don't let anybody try to take that away from them.
Callie, it's been a pleasure. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. It's been great.